Hey there, it's Zach. So I recently had one of my clients bring up a problem that she's been having, which I know is a problem for so many people that I wanted to just share it with everyone here. And that problem is I don't have enough time. Does that sound familiar? Because I know that I've certainly experienced that, and I don't think I've met anyone who can honestly say that they've never at least had a point in their life where they were like, oh my God, I don't have time to do this. Okay, most people in my experience are just stuck and struggling and like, okay, how the heck am I supposed to make time to do everything that I need to do? You know, my schedule is just absolutely packed. Now, what you probably won't want to hear, though, is that it's a lie. I know, you don't think it is. You know, you totally mean it when you say it. Like I said, I've absolutely done this myself, and sometimes I even still fall into the trap of thinking, oh God, I don't have enough time to do this. But it's actually almost never true, you know, with the exception of like horrible crisis situations. And if you are watching this video, you're probably not stuck in one of those situations. So one of the things that comes up when you're feeling like you're not having time, it's usually caused by one of a few things, all right? And the first thing you really need to ask yourself is, do I actually need to be doing everything that I'm spending my time doing? And a lot of times we take on tasks that we shouldn't. You know, we take on responsibilities from everyone else. Maybe you've heard the phrase, if you want to get something done, give it to someone who's busy. It's 100% true, all right? When you're someone who's responsible and task-oriented and you get shit done, people tend to like go, oh, hey, you get shit done, and try and bob it off on you. And oftentimes we don't feel, you know, strong and confident enough to say, no, thank you, I'm not doing that. So the first thing to really do is look at your schedule, look at where you're spending your time, and ask yourself, are you spending any time doing things that aren't your job, doing things that someone else should be doing, you know? And it can be little things like, are you the only one in the household that's doing all the chores? You know, are you taking on responsibilities in your extended family because your siblings aren't willing to? You know, things like that can come up and can really eat into your schedule when you're the responsible one who gets shit done, and people tend to kind of fob things off on you. So if that sounds like something that's going on for you, definitely look into that and see if you can find a way, like really, I would suggest that you start working on setting better boundaries there and learning how to say no in a kind way while holding that boundary, because that's so important. And it's important for everyone, but for entrepreneurs even more so, because when someone is eating into our time, that's potentially hurting your business, hurting your livelihood, and like we cannot afford to let other people do that to us anymore. And so that's the first thing that can be going on. The second thing that can be coming up is that you're giving yourself too many things to do. And this can look like anything. It's really common for entrepreneurs to get like so overwhelmed with all the things that you're supposed to do to run a business. I mean, like if you're on Facebook, then you, like today, while watching this video, you're probably seeing like 3 or 4 different ads from various gurus telling you that this one trick is the thing you must do to make money. You know, we're constantly bombarded with people telling us that if you want to succeed in business, you have to do this laundry list of things. And generally, of course, it's people who are selling those services, and figuring out how to wheedle down what you actually need to do. That's not easy, okay? It's not really easy to see that other people are succeeding using this method and say, you know what, this method isn't for me. All right, and so yeah, really, and again, this is so much more important for entrepreneurs. Like, if your schedule is feeling out of control, then you're probably spending time doing things that you don't need to be doing. And it's definitely good to look at, you know, what are you doing in your business, and is it honestly the most productive, profitable thing that you need to be doing right now? in my experience with clients and in my own experience, I've fallen into this trap so many times. Most of the things that we do, you probably don't actually need to be doing, all right? And that can actually, and hi, Jennifer, it's great to see you. Yeah, everyone that's here, just, feel free to say hi. And also, you can absolutely ask questions or any comments, okay? Yeah, and this also, by the way, can apply to self-care as well. I am really big into self-care, and so of course I'm around a lot of kind of new age people who swear by yoga, they swear by meditation, they swear by all these things, and I kind of got myself into the place where I felt like if I wasn't spending like 5 hours a day doing all of these self-care practices, then I'm a failure for that. And that is a crazy amount of time to be spending on self-care practices. So fortunately, at that time, I had a coach who was just like, no, Zach, you don't have to do all of that. And she was an absolute wonderful person who actually went through with me all the different processes and helped me cut them down and be like, okay, here's like the 2 or 3 things you should be doing every day that are actually going to get you the results you want. And it added up to like half an hour a day plus like 10-second exercises throughout the day to keep the momentum going. And that's made a huge impact on me. So if you're like me and you're sitting there thinking, oh man, I need to do an hour of yoga and half an hour of meditation and an hour of jogging and then spend a bunch of time researching healthy recipes, you don't have to do that. It's okay. You don't have to do that. Right? And so the last thing I'm going to bring up about why your schedule feels out of control is actually the most important, but it's really good for you to start out by trying to weed everything out. And that trick is that you are probably spending a lot more time on tasks than you need to. Okay, and if you're a perfectionist, this goes double for you, all right? And this is something that I'm super guilty of, and just last week I actually caught myself doing that, so, okay? I was writing an email, and it was a really simple email that I knew exactly what I needed to say. It was someone I knew well, and I spent freaking 15 minutes agonizing over what I was going to say in it instead of just spending like 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 2 minutes proofreading it to get it done, okay? So I spent 7 times longer on this email than I needed to. And yes, there are absolutely a whole bunch of other times throughout the day where I do that. And I'm like, oh, is this good enough? And the answer is very usually yes. Actually, it does not have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. We are all growing and learning new things every single day. Like, you are never going to be the best you can possibly be, because tomorrow you're going to learn something new. And when we let that perfection drive cause us to just spend so much time on things that we really don't have to spend half as much time on. And with time, I've actually found, and I'm sure, like, I bet money that you have experienced this as well. Have you ever had a time where something like you think, oh, this project is going to take me a week, and then your boss says, all right, I need it done in 2 days? Well, guess what? You're going to have it done in 2 days. All right? We find ways to make projects fit the space. And entrepreneurs have the sort of bad luck that it's not bad luck, it's actually the best part, but it's the biggest responsibility. We are the boss, so we make the schedule, which means that we tend to give ourselves permission to have wiggle room. We'll give ourselves more time than we actually need to, or we'll think, you know what, I don't have to take free time this evening, I'll just work until bed, right? I'll go to bed a little bit later tonight even. And we do that, we just keep pushing our time back because we're thinking, oh, no, I gotta get the work done. And no, it's actually very likely that you're wasting way more time on projects than you need to be doing. And so a way to do that is to start being really, really brutal with your schedule. And this is actually why I'd suggest you do, no matter what the reason it is that your schedule's out of control, just start really being serious with your schedule and act as though your schedule was set by someone else, because you've probably noticed that when someone else says, you know, I have to have this done by this day, or I need you to show up at this time, you do it. But when we set it for ourselves, we tend not to. And we need to start having the same respect for our own time and our own schedule as we have for everyone else's. In fact, we need to have more respect for our own time and our own schedule than anyone else's, because that is so much more important. You know, our time, no one else is ever going to be able to give us extra time. Time is the single most important commodity you will ever have, because like you can always make more money, you can always find more, pretty much every single resource, but you will never get time back. So what I suggest you do is, first of all, you start scheduling your free time, and you start treating your free time as non-negotiable. You know, like you have a very specific work period, and when that work period is done, you better finish your work for your day because you're done. All right, and like hold yourself to that. Okay, and it's going to be really easy to say, oh, but no, I didn't get this done today. But first of all, if you're really committing to that and making it serious, you're going to find yourself completing things way faster than you realized. And second of all, you really got to ask yourself, do I need to do this today, or can I find a way to make it so that the work I need to do fits in? All right, if you're spending more than like 40 hours a week on your business, you really need to kind of sit down and say, do I need to? Is there a better way? All right, and this is something that I've been super guilty of. I tend to end up with 80-hour work weeks because I'm a workaholic. I love what I do. I really enjoy doing it. So which makes it super easy to say, oh, I'll just do a little bit extra, and then it builds up. And I end up realizing that I'm not spending any time with my kids. I'm not getting any free time. I'm not spending any time with my partner. It's not working. I'm not doing my best work either when I end up with those freaking 80-hour work weeks, because I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I'm not taking care of myself. So it's not worth doing. I'm not doing good work. And whereas when I actually do this, you know, when I actually set the schedule and say, okay, I'm only working between this time and that time, and I'm taking this time off, and this period of time is for my kids, and, you know, the rest of the world can screw off. I don't care what happens, you know, like the phone is going off, I'm focusing on my kids, or I'm focusing on myself. No. When I do that, I actually produce better quality work than I do when I'm trying to work fucking 80 hours a week, right? I think one of the biggest struggles of transitioning from being an employee to being an entrepreneur is learning how to take your schedule seriously, and, you know, treating it that when you have a project deadline, acting as though, you know, your boss told you to do it, and really respecting your time in that higher level. And so I'm gonna end today with a quote from Stephen Covey that it's really valuable and powerful. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. All right, and that is a huge trick. And I know that when you're in the thick of it, of not feeling like you have no time for yourself, you know, it's really easy to say, oh, Zach, you just don't understand. But I've been there, and I've had so many clients who've been there, and it is absolutely possible. And this is something that I help my clients with like all the time, because most of my clients are also workaholics who feel like I could be getting more done. It's like, but it's not the best thing to do. You know, the best thing for you to do really is to start condensing your work down, to start being okay with the fact that it's never going to be perfect, instead of wasting way too much time trying to perfect it. And also, and this is the most important thing, to schedule time that you are going to be taking off, and you're going to be taking care of yourself. You're going to be going out and hanging out with friends. You're going to be doing fun, enjoyable, non-work things, and that is super important, because it gives you the energy and the inspiration back that you get to take back to the work that you're doing, and it makes you even better. All right, so that's all I've got to say today. Thank you so much for listening. if you haven't heard about it, I talked about it on my personal page, but I'm actually doing a 30-day Facebook Live challenge because I need to get more confident doing videos. And you know what? Also, I really do want to help people and start giving you all the advice you need that can really help you make a difference in your life. All right. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. It's been fantastic. Thank you, Jennifer.